longer do we have on our boarding process?
We're still boarding. Let us know.
Montreal, Round Air Canada 779er. Could you please send the baggage? Montreal, Round Air Canada 779er. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
You hear me now? Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, can you hear me now? Oh, finally, beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know it's because I have have my headphones and I have my
On behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your large and carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you.
Yeah,
If you have trouble finding a location for any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat. Somebody will assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you have an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the car and the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Now's the time to get out any last-minute text messages if you need to, but we ask that once you depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you and welcome aboard.
Yes, I want 3 seconds. Alright, so with my live stream, I'm still giving it decent FPS on flight simulation. I really want to experience it first. The mid-20s is still acceptable. Anything lower than 20 FPS is definitely problems. And as you can see, the game actually, all the air traffic communication actually simulates what's going on live right now at Montreal's airport. So, I'm going to try to show you the GPS. So, this is actually simulating all the planes that are active. You hear the rate card when they just arrive. As you can see, there's one coming in right now, but it's not really showing it properly. It's still simulating. Of course, the planes don't far, like over the river and stuff, so there's that. But I could also customize the weather and the time, but I'm actually using real time, which it is 8:48 daily time. I do simulate the kind of weather, like snowstorm, hurricane, and all that. I like to simulate live, these are the real life experience. Yeah, I know, right? That's amazing. And like over here, like I customize, like I'm doing table, but the total weight of the passengers and pilots. So I like to keep it within the 50% range because weight does play a huge impact once you start getting 25,000, 30,000 feet. And then then you might have to like go to the call further because it's sort of like hugely small. One thing I noticed with the Airbus the center of fuel tank sometimes does work. Like by the time I taxi from the gate to the level, I'm already lost some of the time. But I heard on Reddit that it is a combination of Airbus's flight simulator. I don't know the 2024 version. Personally, I bought the 2024 version with black and white. And it was such a pain in the ass, and I got my money back for it on Steam. So I'm using the 2020 version that's still stable. Hey, Mass, how's it going, buddy? We're going to be taking off in about 2 minutes. I'm going to start pumping the first engine here. Fire engine 1. And fire engine 2. Once I get to 20% maybe one, that means it's full pump, and the rest of our taxi to regular system. It's not that long of a taxi way. And in the game right now, we'll actually enter this US approximately
seatbelt when you are.
Montreal
Montreal
ground
ground
Canada
air Canada
779er requesting pushback.
Air Canada 779er pushback request.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 7799 with service to Los Angeles. Our flight time will be roughly 5 hours and 30 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now set down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across your lap. The associable seatbelt must be in the full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure, cross-check, verify straps, and stand by for all call.
Montreal
Montreal
ground Air
ground
Canada
Air
779er requesting pushback type to steer the aircraft to the left.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen for an important safety demonstration. Thank you for flying with us.
Air Canada 779. And now it's the seat. This is the little one that Air Canada just
Welcome aboard Air Canada.
Bienvenue à bord d'Air Canada. Pour votre sécurité et votre confort, nous vous prions d'écouter attentivement cette brève vidéo.
For your safety and comfort, we ask that you pay attention to this short video. Please place baggage in the overhead bin and heavier items under the seat in front of you.
Veuillez ranger les bagages dans les coffres supérieurs et les bagages plus lourds sous le siège devant vous. En prévision du décollage, asseyez-vous confortablement, redressez le dossier de votre siège et rangez votre tablette.
In preparation for takeoff, make sure you're comfortably seated with your seat back upright and tray table stowed. For your safety, you must wear your seatbelt when the seatbelt light has been turned on, and we suggest wearing it even when the sign is turned off.
Pour votre sécurité, gardez toujours votre ceinture bouclée lorsque la consigne est allumée. Nous vous conseillons de la garder attachée en tout temps, même après l'extinction de la consigne. Attachez votre ceinture et ajustez-la autour de vos hanches. Pour la détacher, soulevez la partie supérieure de la boucle ou appuyez sur le bouton.
Fasten your seatbelt by adjusting it around your hips. To release it, lift the upper portion or press on the release button. Air quality is important to us. That's why we always ensure that you enjoy a non-smoking environment.
La qualité de l'air est importante pour nous. C'est pourquoi nous tenons à vous offrir un environnement sans fumée. À partir de maintenant et jusqu'à ce qu'une annonce soit faite à l'arrivée, les appareils électroniques portatifs doivent être réglés en mode avion.
At this time, your portable electronic devices must be set to airplane mode until an announcement is made upon arrival. The illustrated card in your seat pocket or magazine rack explains the many safety features of this aircraft. Please review it sometime before takeoff.
La carte illustrée placée dans la pochette du siège ou dans le porte-revue explique les nombreux éléments de sécurité propres à cet avion. Veuillez en prendre connaissance avant le décollage.
If there is a need to evacuate the aircraft, leave your personal belongings behind and follow the seat-mounted lighting in the aisle to the nearest emergency exit.
S'il fallait évacuer l'avion, laissez vos effets personnels. Suivez l'éclairage des sièges côté couloir jusqu'à l'issue de secours la plus proche.
There are 4 exits located on each side of the aircraft. All of these are indicated by a green exit sign. Please locate the one nearest you.
Il y a 4 issues de secours de chaque côté de l'appareil. Elles sont toutes signalées par une enseigne verte. Veuillez repérer celle qui est la plus près de vous. Si la pression de la cabine change, un masque à oxygène ou une languette rouge tombera du panneau au-dessus de vous. Restez assis. Tirez la languette ou le masque vers vous. Utilisez ensuite la bande élastique pour maintenir le masque sur votre nez et votre bouche. Et respirez normalement pour activer l'arrivée d'oxygène. Mettez toujours votre masque avant d'aider quelqu'un.
If the cabin pressure changes, an oxygen mask or a red tab will drop from the panel above you. Remain seated. Pull the mask or the tab to bring the mask towards you. Use the support strap to hold the mask over your mouth and nose. Breathe normally to start the flow of oxygen. Always secure your own mask before assisting another person. If there is an emergency landing on water, reach under the seat or beside your leg rest. Remove the elastic band if required. Pull out the life vest from the pouch.
Dans le cas d'un amérissage, prenez la pochette contenant le gilet de sauvetage sous le siège ou près du repose-jambe. Retirez la bande élastique au besoin et sortez le gilet de la pochette. Enfilez le gilet. Fixez le crochet autour de la taille et ajustez la ceinture. Ne gonflez votre gilet qu'au moment de quitter l'avion. Pour gonfler le gilet, tirez la languette ou soufflez dans le tube.
Slip it on. The life vest should only be inflated as you leave the aircraft. If you need any assistance or have any concerns, please let one of us know.
Si vous avez besoin d'aide ou si vous avez des préoccupations, adressez-vous simplement à l'un d'entre nous. Merci d'avoir choisi de voyager avec Air Canada.
Thank you for choosing to fly with Air Canada.
Oh yeah, this guy's gonna troll me. Dude, go! Oh my god.
We're ready for departure.
There's always one in every game. This guy's trolling with me.
Please note the cabin lights will be dimmed for departure and landing. If you require additional lighting, there is a reading light on the panel above you.
Air Canada 779er, continue taxi.
Roger, Air Canada 779er.
Stupid guy who just run away. Seriously. Anyways, there's always one in every video game.
From the flight deck, this is your first officer speaking. Welcome on board our flight. We'll be departing soon and we're aiming for a smooth flight. Thanks for flying and we'll keep you informed of any changes as they happen.
It actually AI generated my voice somehow, but it's not really mine. It would be cool if I could do it like an actual AI recording of my actual voice in Flight Sim, but I think it's only in the 2024 version and not the 2020 version. But the 2024 version of Flight Simulator still has a lot of bugs that they have to work out. So I'm not gonna spend $150 on Steam to re-download it. It's not until all the bugs are fixed. So here we are. This is part of the no, this is actually the international terminal. This side here, and I wish there was a way I could zoom in, like if I turn my camera to drone mode, but around here is where, like when you get off the plane at arrivals and you go down the escalator to scan your passport on those machines to clear customs and stuff. And then like, downstairs is the baggage claim, and then you go to the port security and the CBSA. They ask you if you declare that you leave the entrance to the airport. And yeah, this is actually there's two lounges in the international section. So one of them is there's three of them. One is National Bank. The other one's Desjardins, and I think it's the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge for
Air
international
Canada
travel or
779er,
domestic.
position caution, other
And I think on the US terminal there's like two lounges.
Hold position Air Canada
One, I think it's,
779er.
I know there's also one, if you have a credit card with BMO.
Air Canada
And then there's the one for business class.
Roger, Air Canada 779er.
Right, so we're almost stopped our runway. Why am I gonna keep telling me it's echoing? Okay, we're almost there. Alright, I really want to see if I open YouTube. I do it live, people can hear me. Some people are telling me they can't hear a thing. Okay, almost there.
Hold position Air Canada 779er.
Hold position Air Canada 779er.
Oh, okay. Air Canada Flight 327 is pushing back from the gate, so I'll let that aircraft go. And it looks like we have, that's either an A320,
Air Canada
321, or
779er, continue taxi.
Okay, fantastic. No,
Roger,
because
Air
I have some
Canada
people on my Discord
779er.
server saying that my voice was echoing, so I didn't know if I wasn't too sure if there was some more technical issues.
Air Canada 779er, hold position, caution, the Airbus on the taxiway.
Hold position Air Canada
Hold position
779er.
again. The choice
Air
of
Canada 779er, continue taxi.
this is a real life scenario, so you have planes
Roger,
coming
Air
in,
Canada
being all over the world,
779er.
and there's always traffic. Usually, from my experience, from what I've seen, like following planes
Air
taking
Canada
off at this
779er,
time
hold position,
hour of the
caution, other
night,
traffic.
it's usually international flights to
Hold position
parts
Air
of
Canada
Europe, like
779er.
Italy, Paris, Portugal,
Air Canada
Spain.
779er, continue taxi.
I think even to Morocco,
Roger, Air
Algeria,
Canada
Tunisia as
779er.
well. And I'm not sure if Air Canada has started yet, but I did hear word that starting in, I believe, May or June, we're going to be getting direct flights from here to Dubai, which that would be super sick. Because before, if you want to go to Dubai, you had to do a connection in Paris. There was no direct flight to Dubai before, but now I heard there is. What's really funny, Miranda, is that if I were to fly from Montreal to Plattsburgh or even to Vermont by plane, I'm like there in like 10-15 minutes compared to driving like 3 hours to Burlington. Yeah, no, it is insane. Like Plattsburgh and Burlington is like literally 15-minute flight if there's no traffic, obviously. Because like driving from Montreal to Plattsburgh, I think it's if also depending, of course, if there's a hold up at the border, right? It's like a 2-hour drive. But there was one time, Christ, I remember, I think it was still during the lockdown and COVID. I think it was in 2021 or 2022 that I drove down to Burlington and the main border was shut down because of COVID, and they opened up a temporary border to farmland. And oh my god, by the time we crossed into the States, like I was so dizzy because it was so much like a rocky road, and we were up in the I-89, the mountains. My eardrums were popping. Plane ticket from Montreal to Plattsburgh. I'm sad to say there's no flights from what I've noticed. If I were to go, instead of driving, if I want to come down to Burlington or Plattsburgh, take the Amtrak from downtown Montreal. It's like not even like what with taxes, it's like $65, and I'm there in like 3.5 hours because you have to go to customs at a U.S. Canada train station customs depot, from what I've heard. But yeah, there's no direct flight to Plattsburgh from what I know. I do know that if I want to save a couple of $100, if I want to go to Florida, for example, a lot of people, they would drive to Plattsburgh and park their cars there for a week and take off from the Plattsburgh airport. Alright, turning on the runway right, I am now approaching runway 6. I'm just waiting for the tower to give me takeoff clearance. Alright, should not be too long. Alright, brakes, brake.
Montreal Tower, Air Canada
Montreal Tower, Air
779er
Canada
ready for
779er,
departure runway 6 right I-5 to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Canada 779er QNH tree 0.14 wind 064 at 5. Cleared for takeoff runway 6 right.
Clear for takeoff
Cleared
runway
for
6
takeoff
right,
runway
Air Canada
6 right, Air Canada
779er.
779er.
Alright, so now I'm gonna just align my plane, follow the CL line here, align it to the center of the runway, turn on takeoff landing lights, turn off my strobe, which is like, strobe lights are like pretty much a high beams of aircraft when you're up in the air. As far as I know, I could be wrong, but there's so many lights in the airplane. Alright, I'm gonna stop here. Make sure my joystick is centered in the line because you're gonna watch now. And I'm having a little bit of glitches on my joystick lately where you're gonna see it. I just hope it doesn't glide to the left or the right, but alright. Let's go 40%. Toga. So in air and pilot language, toga it means take off and go around. It pretty much means to go for it. Right, 80 knots. My computer here, my flight computer is only not on the 140 to start taking off. And V1 rotate and what? Yeah, as you can see, it kind of shifts. It's like very windy here in Montreal. Snowboard and I and air flight things that can use. Gear up, flaps up. Alright.
Air Canada 779er contact Montreal Center on 132.85. Good day.
Lord.
Going to 132.85 Air Canada 779er.
And now I'm just
Montreal Center Air Canada 779er is passing 1,500 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
Takeoff lights.
Air Canada 779er Montreal Center QNH tree 0.14
So right now
contact. Continue to stay focused.
Actually something. No, this is the carry over. The most congested highway in Montreal. There's never a day where there's no traffic on the highway.
Air Canada tree 27 climb and maintain 15,000 feet.
We have some Joseph's Laboratory.
That's
a really beautiful church in
heavy
Montreal.
the traffic.
Here's the Montreal.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet Air Canada tree 27.
And here's downtown. How beautiful this is. Downtown Montreal. All lit up and sparkling nice. Old port right there. Bell Center's right over us. Yeah, the Bell Center of the games was right there. The ramp is right there, the Champlain Bridge. So now I have to start going westbound, so I'm going to start tilting to the right. Right, I'm going to actually start putting on my autopilot. I just want to make sure it's working properly. Alright, autopilot's engaged. So far so good. I am doing all this. Good speed, wind. Yep, good. And I'm going to tell passengers that we just flew over downtown to increase the passenger happiness score.
From the flight deck, this is your first officer speaking. Take a peek outside your window this evening and take in the view we have right here.
I'm going to ask the tower if I can go at a higher altitude so we can
Montreal Center Air Canada 779er. Request flight level 260.
Air Canada 779er climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Expect flight level 260.
Give it a couple more minutes to start asking.
Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Expect flight level 260 Air Canada 779er.
Air Canada 779er climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climb and maintain flight level 200 Air Canada 779er.
answering on my Discord server and people messaging on the site, so I just want to make sure it's working for them. So,
Air Canada Tree 27 climb and maintain flight level 250.
Alright, so we got clearance to flight level 200.
Climb and maintain flight level 250 Air Canada Tree 27.
I'm going to program the aircraft to go at a pace of 2,000 feet per second so that we will reach our cruising altitude as fast as possible. It's so pitch black right now, it's just like I'm right outside. And we are literally over the same points, I believe. I can actually mess up to show you exactly where we are. Yeah, so it's like magenta pink line is the GPS course, so as you can see, there's no like grading towards like careful, I think. Laval's right there, this is bizarre. Then you have St. Eustache and Oka Beach not far. And this part of the flight is heading towards Ottawa because you do fly over Ottawa, and then after about an hour and a half, you're flying over Michigan, and then another half hour later, you're flying over Green Bay, and you actually see Lambeau Field up in the sky. Lambeau Field, of course, where the Packers play.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. You may turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi to find out more information.
Contact Montreal Tower on 118.9er.
No. It's an airplane, probably in the vicinity.
Montreal Central Porter 2237 is passing flight level 185, descending 3,300 feet.
To P-True,
Order 2237 Montreal Center, radar contact.
Airbus Airport still exists actually for cargo, unfortunately. But that airport used to be the largest airport in Canada up until 2004.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Tower on 118.9er Air Canada 7067 Heavy. Air Canada 779er climb and maintain flight level 260.
Climb, maintain 26,000.
Climb and maintain flight level 260 Air Canada 779er.
Perfect. Alright, so far so good. We're getting close to our cruising altitude. So where are we now? A hot spur, okay. We're about 5 minutes outside of Ottawa.
Air Canada 779er, contact Montreal Center on 13.975. Good day.
13.975 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Montreal Center Air Canada 779er is at flight level 205, climbing flight level 260.
Air Canada 779er Montreal Center radar contact. Continue to canter.
It's so funny is that in real life, a flight from Montreal to Los Angeles just takes about 6 hours, but in Flight Simulator, I can get you there in 5 hours, 5.5 tops. So pretty much like on this flight, you fly over Ottawa, the Northern Peninsula, Michigan, Green Bay, Denver, Vegas. And once we reach Vegas, I start my descent because once I hit Vegas, it's like not even 20 minutes into LA over to Sierra Nevada, and it's super fast. The longest flight I've ever done in the 5-6 years of doing Flight Sim 2020 on my ABC, I've done Montreal to Tokyo direct. It was 14.5 hours. And the second longest flight I did it during the summertime, it was Montreal to Dubai, which was about 10 hours. And I think my third longest flight, it was either to Rome or to Greece. Rome is about 8 hours, Greece is about 9.5. Depending where you're landing, if you're landing in Athens or the Isle of Rhodes or Crete. And also depending on the approach you're taking. It's not every pilot follows the same flight path. Alright, we're at 26,000 feet.
Montreal Center Air Canada 779er. Request flight level 360.
Air Canada 779er climb and maintain flight level 320. Expect flight level 360.
Climb and maintain flight level 320. Expect flight level 360 Air Canada 779er.
I'm last for 36, my bad, it's 35.
Montreal Center Air Canada 779er. Request flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er climb and maintain flight level 320. Expect flight level 350.
Climb and maintain flight level 320. Expect flight level 350 Air Canada 779er.
About 26,000 feet, so usually by the time I fly over Ottawa, I've already hit 30 to 35,000 feet. I don't want to put too much stress on my aircraft's angle of attack, which is how lines up in the sky, so I don't want that much pressure. Over Ottawa, and I cannot guarantee you I can get you a good picture because it's nighttime, but if I was flying the day, you could actually see Parliament Hill as you fly over Ottawa from a far distance. I just had one of my guys just messaged me saying context that I just showed my MCEU, which is like my control panel for flying, and it says like no Chinese, but yeah, I get it. So for me, it's a piece of cake, but I mean, it is complicated to go to learn. I would say that to be a good pilot, I think I could be wrong. I don't know if it's I remember back in high school, almost career day, teachers were saying like, if you want to be a pilot, you have to do physics. Yeah, I could see the outlook and maybe high math because you have to know your vectors and waypoints and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to many pilots and they were told me that they have to
Mercury 3506, contact approach on 135.15. Good day.
Anyways, that's smooth.
Going to 135.15 Mercury 3506. Air Canada 779er climb and maintain flight level 350.
Climb and maintain flight level 350 Air Canada 779er.
almost at 35, so I should start lowering the airspeed because it is prudent and imperative that to make sure that there's no stalling or your plane starts to glide or whatnot. That normally when you're flying at about 30,000 to 35,000 feet, it's best to keep your airspeed at 280 to 85 knots tops. So
Montreal
if
Center
somebody
Air
out
Canada
there
166 is at 7,600
what's
feet
not
and
is
93
the
knots
measurement
speed.
of the
Air Canada 466
airplane
Montreal Center
airspeed,
QNH
also
30.0 radar
like
contact
big cruise
continues to
ships, and
Taiwan.
even back in the day of the Titanic, it was always by knots. So I don't know off the top of my heart what the conversion is. I actually honestly have to Google this. How much 1 knot in kilometers per hour? Alright, so according to Google, so 1 knot is 2 kilometers per hour. So if I'm at right now 280, I'm actually going at 518 kilometers an hour. Which is insane but cool. And actually when you're flying, there is an actual thing as speed limits. It'll be funny when they actually because there are speed limits when you're flying. It'll be so cool. Imagine when you see an actual I don't know, SPVM or SQ plane up in the air giving you a tip for speed with the airspace. Or a helicopter, that'll be hilarious. But yeah, there's actual speed limits. Right, sorry, there's speed limit turning to me. This is one of these beautiful. Right, so now my next waypoint is Tucker, it says there. So we are now outside of Ottawa. This would be, I would say, the Canada
Air Canada
region, which
77909 contact
it's not
Toronto Center
really
on
what I'm outside of it, but I think somewhere around
Air Canada 466 contact
the
approach
Canadian
on
Tire
135.15. Good day. Going to 124.675 Air Canada 77909er. Toronto Center Air Canada 77909er is passing flight level 340, climbing flight level 350.
But Toronto's
Air Canada
airspace covers the
77909er
majority
Toronto Center radar contact, continue to air it.
Because in Canada, there's Montreal's airspace, which covers the majority of Quebec. Toronto's airspace, which covers most of Ontario. You have Winnipeg, which covers most of Manitoba, Saskatchewan. Edmonton's airspace covers all of Alberta, and I think part of Nunavut and Northwest Territories. And then you have Vancouver's airspace, which covers Western Canada. And I think maybe in the Atlantic coast there might, I think it's Moncton, New Brunswick's airspace, or Halifax, Nova Scotia. I have to see next time I do a transatlantic flight. I know Newfoundland has their own airspace, which is Gander, which every flight that goes to Montreal over the Atlantic always flies over Gander, Newfoundland before you cross the Atlantic. And I did time myself once to see how long it takes for me to cross the Atlantic Ocean from Canada into Europe. It takes me about 4 hours until I'm actually flying over. I believe it starts at Ireland or Liverpool after 4 hours crossing the Atlantic. I did once do a flight to Hawaii, but I did touch down at LAX to refuel, and I think from Los Angeles to Honolulu is about 4.5, because you have to reach in the middle of the Pacific. Right, so
Air Canada 779er, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
Right, maybe.
Descend to maintain flight level 350 Air Canada 779er.
Just want to drop drastically. Oh no, we're good. Right here, speed is good. 270s, 280s. It should stabilize itself to keep it at 25,000. Now at our cruising altitude, I could remove the seatbelt sign for our passengers. They want to get out of the seats, use the rest
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
And what's really cool, if I click on this button here, I don't know why it's not showing in the game. Okay, I do apologize. I don't know why it's not showing my PackX app for some reason in the game. Because I really want to show you the app the program I use to simulate planes. Okay, so yeah, some passengers did get up on the restroom. Yeah, that's why there's two guys that just got off the seats. Everyone seems to be very happy. Some are hungry, some are tired, some are thirsty. Okay. Alright, passengers are good. I'm checking with the attendants to see how we're doing back there. Flight attendant request. Hey Tasha, how are you?
We're just checking in. Let us know if you need anything.
Okay?
Hello Tasha.
In a few moments, our lovely flight attendants will be starting our in-flight service. We'll be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. Please note we only accept credit cards.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee, that stuff. That's it. That's right, Mas. Hey, don't worry, I already have my water already, so I'm good. I had chicken for supper tonight. Portuguese chicken with vegetables that the A3 got. It was so good. And I devoured that chicken. I'm telling you, since you helped me lose weight, I keep craving chicken or steak now, which is insane. So we are outside of the Ottawa region in Western, I wouldn't say Western Ontario. Google Maps here. We're actually over, I think, an Indian reserve up there called Park. Yeah, I actually know this reserve there because pretty soon we'll be flying over Lake Huron as we make our way into the States. Like we'll be flying over Michigan, then probably in about an hour or so. Actually, more than time because my clock, my navigation clock here. And all these things, these are my waypoints. So as you can see, it's 9:30 here, and this is I think Britain time, which the International Aviation Organization uses. So there's that. So yeah, it means what I'm doing some our time. And right now we're over this waypoint down. So yeah, we're heading up. We're almost over crossing into the U.S. territory. Passengers were getting drinks. Almost a quarter of them have been served their complimentary drinks and snacks, plus their entertainment. Alright, so it's going good. And I'm actually getting pretty good at it. Like, shooting max on FPS, and I have some 4K max out, which is pretty good. Beauty of having what is my GE? 4070 Ti I have, something like that. My next time when I get down the line to complete my setup for my gaming PC is what I want to get later on, but Christ, man, I'm not spending $400 for the US plus the customs, is to have a replica of this entire dashboard over here with the buttons and knobs. Like, I just bought like this thing here where I put in my map of how to get from point A to point B. Just this, I was like my birthday gift. It was like 180 with the conversion, and this whole panel here, it would be like $400 something. So yeah, I'm gonna wait it off now, but it's something I really want to get down the line. But I mean, I already have a replica of the throttle here and the joystick that I got during COVID, and at the time it was like $150, but now with the inflation it went up to $300. So I actually got lucky then, because now like ever since the AI craze, just one computer part, you can't get anything less than $500 anymore. Just a hard drive now they're asking for $600 for a 1 terabyte hard drive, which is ludicrous. Absolutely insane. Okay, that's why I'm talking about clear. Yeah, so as you can see, like, I don't know if I want to try and see if it simulates like a pilot. Like, you can see the passengers over here. It's mostly AI generated. So this dude here is supposed to be being a girl, so it's supposed to be the AI generated co-pilot. So that's you see, like, looking at the Windows stuff. It's kind of like it's really AI generated, but it would be so cool if I could get my phone. I think in the 2024 version, you could take a screenshot of your camera, your face, and AI generates your actual face to look like a pilot. I think that's what I heard now. It's going to be the next update coming up this summer. But yeah. And this is an actual replica of an Airbus320N. So you can see here, this is like my tail number, my VIN number, as we call it. It has a Star Alliance recognition decal. The air panel logos on the engine propellers, on the wing tails. Yeah, and under here, you might see the Air Canada. So in the game, like, if I'm just Air Canada, if I want to, I could do Air Transat. But the problem with Air Transat is I don't have the actual audio recording of the safety briefing and the background music, the music they play when they're boarding the plane. like just as we're getting to seats. So I have to put off doing speeding air transats for now, but that's probably in a future update. I could do other airlines like Delta, Air France, British Air, WestJet, the Emirates, Qatar Airlines. I have to see, I think I might have Alitalia to fly in, like, say I want to go, for example, Rome to Sicily or to Naples. I think I have a DLC add-on of Italian Air. I also have Singapore Air and Air Qantas, which is the airline that goes all the way to Australia. That's like my next like to unlock like a trophy in game is there is a trophy to unlock doing New York City to Singapore, because New York to Singapore is apparently the longest flight in the world. I've yet to unlock that trophy in my achievements, but I did get one. I did get one from Japan, 14 and a half hours straight. Hey Matt, if you're watching, I don't know if you're watching Spring Training. It's playing right now. Yankees are leading 7-0 against the San Francisco Giants, and what's happening with the Blue Jays? Did baseball season start? Oh, they lost. The Blue Jays got smoked. They lost 8-3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. But on Sunday, they destroyed Tampa 14-1. And their home opener is Friday against
Going to 134.25 Air Canada 779er. Toronto Centre Air Canada 779er, flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er, Toronto Centre radar contact. Continue to air it.
Text message from my friends. Right, so where are we now? Yeah, we're almost over the yeah, sure, why not? I'll give you a nice discount, Mass. No problem. So first class will probably be like around here. say I left tweet viewers here. Welcome aboard. I thank you so much for watching and following. Please remember to follow and subscribe, and I plan to do more videos in the future. If anyone has any suggestions of destinations, don't be shy to leave them a suggestion in the comments, and I'll try my absolute best during the week to try and do any of your suggested destinations.
Air Canada 77909 contact Toronto Centre on 124.025. Good day.
Going to 124.025 Air Canada 77909er. Toronto Centre Air Canada 77909er flight level 350.
Air Canada 77909er, Toronto Centre radar contact. Continue to Darren.
Alright, so waypoint now is Darren, so yeah, this is the last stop before leaving Canadian soil. So with my GPS, I can go up to 200 nanometers above ground. So I can see like these little spots with like small like landing strips, helicopters, near farms or those outskirts. And usually the ones that are in blue are like the big airports where you can land like all the way down here. I think this is Toronto. Yeah, this is Toronto, I think, or Kingston. No, Toronto. No, sorry, this is Toronto. As you can see, there's planes heading towards Toronto, so that's over there. One thing I'm actually disappointed in this game is that I don't know why Toronto's airport is not located anything close to where it's supposed to. Like it's just a generic design, and I would have thought that after 6 years of this game being out on the market, they would have done Toronto replica. I mean, there are third-party designs, but they all look terrible. I think it's 500 followers before for it to get monetized. I think. I know on Twitch you need like a couple of thousands. Last I checked, unless it's changed. I know during the pandemic that they were asking for like over 1,000 something people, especially on Twitch. On YouTube, I really don't know, but I'm just doing this like once in a blue moon. Which technically turbo boost on, it's almost like 500 muscle. It's almost going to do like 1,000 kilometers an hour, which is fantastic. Maybe I'll get there in like 4 hours. So far so good, I can't complain. Alright, we're now making a little slight curve to the left because now we're going to start heading southwest bound. So yeah, like this, like, right now, like we're a couple of miles north of Toronto, so this area is Lake Simcoe, which is like all the way north of Toronto, and there's Wasaga Beach over here. So now we're going to find over one of the Great Lakes, which is Lake Huron, and then we're going to be on the northern peninsula of Michigan, like north of Lansing, Flint County, and near Boyne Mountain Ski Resort. So now we're flying over Lake Huron. So obviously, as you can see, it's really July. Fantastic. I just freak. I just. It's so amazed like how realistic it looks like the stars and stuff. It would be so cool if it actually simply showing stars. But yeah, like the stars out in the sky right now, it's absolutely beautiful. Let's see, we're almost in the States.
Air Canada 779er contact Toronto Center on 132.575. Good day.
Going to 132.575 Air Canada 779er. Toronto Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Toronto Center radar contact. Continue to Derek.
wipers are still on. That's why they're enabled. Okay, everything's good. The de-icer's on. Okay, everything's good. Now we're doing fantastic. Alright. Time's good. Fantastic. Speed's good. Actually, 300. Alright, if I go 300, I'm still with the speed limit point here. Maybe 300 is the cutoff. Let's see if I can push her a little bit more. Out. I'll leave it at 25. Yeah, I'll start to put some, I have to keep speed in the 280s because or else it's going to put, or else the engine's going to reach peak stress and then it's going to be a catastrophe. Maybe if I had my altitude at 30,000, I could push the engines a bit more, but I didn't read up that once you reach, because like the top altitude of the Airbus, I think is 38, but I've heard some people say they tried pushing it to 40,000, but then it stalled, but I know 35,000 feet, the cutoff speed is about 280 to 85 knots. Alright, so yeah, we're moving in Canadian airspace. Like I said, once we cross Lake Huron here, we're going to be in American airspace, and we're almost going to be and once we're over, we're going to see Apple float from 35,000 feet. I just saw a review today that the NFL announced, which actually was the first time I ever seen something for the NFL to kick off the season on a Wednesday night, because traditionally it's always been Thursday. So this is what the NFL announced today. The Seahawks will kick off the season Wednesday, September 9th, and Thursday, September 10th. The Niners and the Rams play in Australia. This takes a little bit of time to cross over the lane, on the great lakes. So I'm just gonna sit back and relax. I have to say, like, for my FPS, it's still doing amazing. So that's great. That's, I think, China. That's Hong Kong's airline. And that plane right now, the 1658 of real life, is actually flying to Boston right now. It's actually, it's literally showing, it's the same spot in real life. That is insane. Simulating in real life. It's going from Hong Kong to Boston, and this one ASA
Air Canada 779er contact center
Because I
on
like to
135
air
decimal
ones.
tree. Good day.
And that one's going to Boston as well, and it left Seattle.
135 decimal tree Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er center radar contact. Continue to Tango Victor Charlie.
Going to 118.525 Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Tango Victor Charlie.
I see by 1 a.m. the latest I should be landing if this was so fast. Alright, so we are approaching US, so this is probably yeah. No, this is Michigan. Okay, so it's, yeah, this is 1.5 hours to fly over weekday.
Center on 125.475. Good day.
$1,000 US is going to cost me $1,400.
125.475 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Tango Victor Charlie. Air Canada 779er contact Minneapolis Center on 118.525. Good day.
118.525 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Tango Victor Charlie.
It's 20 bucks more. Also, books.
Air Canada 779er contact Minneapolis Center on 132.9er. Good day.
132.9er Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Tango Victor Charlie.
Hey Mom, is that you? Oh, good night. Night, Ma. Yeah, I know, because in the flight sim, I have turbulence.
131, you are 13 miles west. Climb and maintain 3,500 feet, expect ILS runway 28 approach via Tango Victor Charlie transition. Clear to Tango Victor Charlie. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet, expect ILS runway 28 approach via Tango Victor Charlie transition. Clear to Tango Victor Charlie Cessna 131.
25.55 Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center, radar contact, continue.
Alright guys, here's what we made. It's
Take a peek outside your window this evening and take in the view we have right here.
24.4 Air Canada 7799er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 7799er flight level 350.
Air Canada 7799er, Minneapolis Center, radar contact. Continue to again.
2.5.3 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Chicago Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Chicago Center radar contact. Continue to ACAN. Air Canada 779er contact Chicago Center on 125.05. Good day.
125.05 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Chicago Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Chicago Center radar contact. Continue to ACAN. Chicago Center Sun Country Tree 90 is passing flight level tree 50, climbing flight level tree 80. Sun Country Tree 90 Chicago Center radar contact. Continue to Alpha Lima Oscar. Air Canada 779er traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at flight level tree 45 Boeing. Report them in sight. Sun Country Tree 90 traffic is 2 o'clock 3 miles at flight level tree 50 Airbus320N. Report them in sight.
Air Canada 779er half the traffic.
Sun Country Tree 90 have the traffic. Air Canada 779er contact Chicago Center on 133.3.
133.3 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye.
Sun Country Tree 90 contact Minneapolis Center on 124.4. Good day.
Air Canada 779er contact Minneapolis Center on 128.6. Good day.
128.6 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to ACAN.
have to be and now we're flying over Iowa, Nebraska, and Denver for the next hour, hour and a half.
0.4.35 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to again.
In a few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for our list of complimentary and premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an additional purchase, please note that we only accept credit cards.
flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel. Center on 134.0. Good day.
134.0 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center, radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel. on 124.1. Good day.
Going to 124.1 Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel. Contact Minneapolis Center on 119.6. Good day.
Going to 119.6 Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel. Contact Minneapolis Center on 124.1. Good day.
124.1 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel. tree 2.1. Good day.
Going to 132.1 Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel.
Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel. contact Minneapolis Center on 128.75. Good day.
Going to 128.
Great news from the flight deck. We are slightly ahead of schedule.
Minneapolis Center, Air Canada 779er, flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er, Minneapolis.
We're just checking in. Let us know if you need anything.
Oscar Bravo Hotel.
All right.
Going to 128.0 Air Canada 779er. Center Air Canada 779er, flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er, center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel.
05 Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Oscar Bravo Hotel.
Air Canada 779er requests destination change to Los Angeles.
Air Canada 779er is cleared to Los Angeles Airport as filed. Squawk 0254.
Air Canada 779er cleared to Los Angeles Airport as filed. Squawk 0254.
Air Canada 779er read that correct. Radar contact, flight level tree 50. Continue to Lima Bravo Foxtrot turning and following heading 255. Resume low navigation descent and maintain flight level tree 00.
Continue to Lima Bravo Foxtrot turning and following heading 255. Proceed on course descent and maintain flight level tree 00. Air Canada 779er.
Air Canada 779er contact Minneapolis Center on 119.4. Good day.
119.4 Air Canada 779er. Goodbye. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er is at flight level 350, descending flight level 300.
Air Canada 779er Minneapolis Center radar contact. Continue to Lima Bravo Foxtrot.
Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er. Request 17,000 feet.
Air Canada 779er descend and maintain flight level 300. Expect 17,000 feet. American 239er contact Minneapolis Center on 126.05. Good day.
Descend and maintain flight level 300. Expect 17,000 feet. Air Canada 779er.
Going to 126.05 American 239er.
Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er. Request flight level 270.
Air Canada 779er descend and maintain flight level 300. Expect flight level 270.
Descend and maintain flight level 300. Expect flight level 270. Air Canada 779er. Minneapolis Center Air Canada 779er. Request flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er climb and maintain flight level 350.
Climb and maintain flight level 350. Air Canada 779er.
Air Canada 779er contact center on 132.7. Good day.
Going to 132.7 Air Canada 779er. Center Air Canada 779er flight level 350.
Air Canada 779er Center radar contact. Continue to Lima Bravo Foxtrot. Center Delta 1029er is at flight level tree 45, descending flight level tree 40. Delta 1029er Center, radar contact, continue.